Good morning and welcome to day two of our conference. And we are very much excited to begin with the session that dives deep into customizing AI for technical writing. And joining us from Chennai is Gayatri R. Nair, who is a senior manager of technical communication at Arcserve. And with over 2 decades of experience leading global documentation teams, Gayatri will show us how to transform generative AI tools into custom assistants that understands your style guides, glossaries, and product content. And if you ever wished AI could truly support your documentation workflows, this session is definitely for you. And give a huge round of applause for Gayatri R. Nair. Over to you, Gayatri.
Thank you for the lovely introduction, Preeti. I'm excited to be part of this session and I hope I add value to it. So, as Preeti said, I'm Gayatri Nair and I work for Arcserve as a senior manager, technical writing manager. So, let me share my screen. So, if you see today, I will be talking about how to harness or manage or use. Can you see my screen? Can you confirm, please?
Yes.
Yes, Gayatri.
And is it in slide mode?
No.
No. No.
How is that?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
now.
So, in this session, I will talk about how to harness, manage, or use custom GPTs or AI agents specifically for our technical writing because it's usually generally available for writing, but not for technical writing. So, the custom GPTs or AI agents that I will primarily use for demonstration in this session would be ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot. I would want you all to note that Gemini is the only free version available for this customization, and ChatGPT and Copilot require a paid. Also, I want you to know that there are naming differences for each of these GPTs. ChatGPT calls its GPT as GPT. Copilot calls it as agent, and Gemini calls it as Gem. Before we dive in, I would encourage all of you all to keep those, these or one of these tools open so that when we get to demonstration, you can actually try it. So, let's start from the basics. Gen AI stands for generative AI. It learns from patterns from data, right? So, and with those patterns, it can create new content, not just limited to text, but images, code, and audio, and so on. So, it's unlike a search engine which retrieves information, uh, but with its learning, it actually creates new content. ChatGPT even claims non-plagiarism. However, when Gemini was barred, it did say that it involved plagiarized content. So I'm not sure about Gemini as such. To give an analogy, when we used to use, until recently, we used search engines to get information, right? So it's like you walk into a library and you ask the librarian where you can find some particular content. And the librarian would probably ask you to look at one shelf or a row of shelves, and you would have to read through plenty of books to know and amass information that is pertinent to your requirement. However, Gen AI is like that author who's already read all of the books in the library. What you have to do is request or ask questions to this Gen AI, and based on your requirements and how exactly you want its needs met, the information is processed. And when we look at GPT is a model, primarily a Gen AI model, and it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Again, it is trained massively on text data sets. The GPT, as we all know by now, it can produce content just like how humans can. But then there is always a debate if there is a way to actually identify AI text, which it is debatable because again, the people who train the AI are humans, so obviously AI will reflect how a human writes. So let's understand GPT in a generic sense. It it has benefits and limitations. Of course, it helps us create faster drafts. Anything you want information about, anything. It gives you, it can create concept information quickly, in seconds, and then you have a large chunk of information and you can't understand. It can, make it easier for comprehension than if you have a huge PDF that you cannot read because you lack time. You attach that to the GPT. It gives you a synopsis of what exactly the PDF has or any document. Um, but it also has limitations, especially when it comes to technical writing. It does not, fit for our needs because we have separate guidelines, we have industry standards to adhere to. See, it does not understand a product because generic, generally it is not trained. So it lacks product specific context. Because of that, it might not, and again, it is not trained as per our industry. It is only trained generally of how people write. Um, so it might end up providing inconsistent and sometimes inaccurate terminology, and it might not follow any specific guidelines. Um, Again, one major concern is it has a risk of hallucination. I think this is something Sagar was talking about yesterday as well, that AI generally can fabricate information. It might seem like it might sound convincing, it might seem like the information is absolutely correct, but it isn't. So this I've listed a few reasons why customization matters. Generic AI models definitely are helpful, but it does not fully understand our technical writing world. This is exactly why customization changes everything. A customized agent um, can ensure that there is consistency in tone, there is consistency while using capitalization. We don't have to worry about the last minute fixes, especially when it comes to consistency. If we train it well, it can produce consistent content. Next is accuracy. If we train the GPT with applicable information for the domain or product, it can produce noticeably accurate information, not completely perhaps, but noticeably accurate information. And human intervention, of course, is important. Then repurposing. So, GPT, we would take long time to read content that has been built over years. But for a GPT, it might be done in a few hours, in a few days, if it is just restricted to, to content over the years. These this massing of information can help us repurpose the content. Maybe we might need, out of a big huge guide, user guide, or uh, some documentation that's been archaic, we might want a quick reference guide, and it can help us produce that in minutes. Again, just like us, it needs feedback to improve, to grow. So yes, the key is, we need to provide feedback so that it continuously learns from it and becomes better. So now that we know why customization matters, let's look at how to create a custom GPT. Before we delve into the demonstration, I would want to point these factors so that it is easy easier when we start applying it because the demonstration would not hover over these factors, but it would just be on how to customize. So these are factors that you might want to have clarity on before you start creating a custom GPT. Firstly, you need to know why you want to create a custom GPT. You need to have clarity on the purpose. Is it for reviewing your documentation sets? Is it for creating procedures based on images, and so on, right? And then to uh, to make sure the purpose is established correctly, you can probably provide reference materials. Okay, this is optional, of course, but it is a good practice to provide reference material to the GPT so that it knows what to do, or it knows precisely what to do. Then we tell the GPT what to do, as in we need to set the boundaries of what to do and what not to do uh, by configuring it and training it. And before we start using it, we need to test it. And in the test, while we assess and we are not convinced, we can always refine it to make it better and keep refining it till it meets our requirements. And finally, we can deploy. One important factor that we need to keep in mind before customizing a GPT is prompt engineering. I mean, we've been hearing about it, listening to a lot of information about prompting. Prompting is nothing but how you talk to the AI, and the more structured your prompts are, the output or the results from the AI would be as good. It's like when a writer is assigned a project. Imagine you getting something big. Obviously, we will not be able to produce something of quality. For us to produce a quality document, we need more information, structured information, what needs to be done, what would be ad hoc information that need to be included, and what would be caution and warning that needs to go into the document, and so on. So the more structured your prompts, the better the output. Um, these are best practices: setting the role, being specific, providing context, using examples, and then iterating and refining. Let me share a prompt that I've created that you may want to look into, and we can discuss about it towards the end if you have any questions. Let me share. So when I say set the role, it's basically you're telling the GPT who it needs to be. So if we are going to tell the GPT, oh, you're just a writer and you need to write procedures, it's to take any style, any. It might behave like a creative writer instead of a technical writer. So it's important to specify what role it needs to perform. So it's pivotal that you tell it that it's an expert writer who has certain knowledge in performing this. Um, and then you also tell what, being an expert technical writer, what it should know. It should know the guidelines, the industry guidelines, the standards. And then you've got to go specific and tell what it needs to do for, for it to, convert the content. Okay, before that, uh, you know, here the scenario is I have assumed that I have received a task where I have huge amount of text that are primarily written in the voice and needs to be written in active voice. So this prompt comes from that background, which primarily aims to convert all of the active voice information content into I'm sorry, passive voice content into active voice. So we tell what exactly, we tell the GPT what exactly it needs to do after defining its role. It needs to convert input from passive to active voice, that it needs to maintain clear, concise, and user-focused tone. It needs to ensure grammar, punctuation, spelling. It needs to use plain language and nothing creative. Or we don't need analogies when it comes to technical writing. And then it needs to make sure it is conversational, just like just like the trends in technical writing. And then it's important to tell that it needs to avoid jargon unless it is absolutely necessary. And if it uses jargon, then it has to make sure to explain what it means. And also you provide a context. You need to tell that this content needs to be converted from passive to active, because the passive voice is not user friendly, or it's difficult to comprehend, and if the content is not in conversational tone, it can seem too formal and too unapproachable and not sound instructional and so on. And again, why provided why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want this content to be um, available for the end user, to be relatable for the end user, for UI text or knowledge base and so on. And then finally, I provide at input. So, this is, I will share this with you all in the chat. Maybe you all can, if you all have the GPTs ready, keep this so that we can do a quick compare. So next is a demo. In the demo, we already have done prompting. Next, we would go ahead and create customized GPT, and then we'll run a text prompt and see how, and then compare the outputs as well. I want you all, I mean, I have talked about it earlier. I want you all to remember that Gemini is the only version that is free. ChatGPT and Copilot are paid versions. However, there is a shortcut or a hack that you can use in ChatGPT, which can be considerably effective as customizing agent. So I have I'm first start with showing you an an example. See, we'll just ask it to review this. While this is on, and let me show you how to create a GPT in Gemini. Like I said, in Gemini, it's called Gem. So you click on Explore Gem, you go to new gem, provide a name. Let me call it as um, active. Okay, let's call it active voice rewriter. And then I'm going to use the prompt that I copied. Okay, I'm going to under instructions, you can provide. I usually use Markdown, not that you don't really have to. You can go ahead and just give it as pointers or whatever suits. Okay, and then you provide the instructions, and probably we can, you know, give give it a test. An example. I'm sorry, I'm toggling that because I don't want to waste your time in typing. Give it a test it. So it has provided an active, from a passive word, it has provided an active word. So it is working fine based on the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and click save so that I can use it in my day-to-day life. The same content that I used for to create to review, I'm going to so and it rewrite. Let's check the gem that we created. We will just rewrite, refine. You know, this is just enough. What usually happens with AI is we got to prompt it every time we have something for it to look into. And every time we have to say, use these guidelines, rewrite it as per, a particular requirement and so on. But when we create a gem or an agent or a GPT, all we have to do is simply say rewrite and refine and so that. And let's see the difference between, so this is what it has rewritten. Okay? It has broken it into pieces and highlighted the important points. If we were to look into this one, so it only talks about the key improvements and then rewritten. Right? It's not really it has given a rewritten one. It is action oriented, which it has assumed itself, probably based on what it has learned previously from the users, but it is not based on the instructions that we want. This is about Gemini. Now let's go back to ChatGPT. So, so I'm going to ask it to rewrite too. So while we work on this, let's go to ChatGPT again. As I said, ChatGPT requires you to have a paid version to customize it. So um, go to ChatGPT, click on GPT. Okay, GPT. In this page, you got to click create, okay? And then you provide a name. You can call it an active voice rewriter, and then you provide a description. Then you provide the instructions, the same prompts. I'm going to use the same prompts that I used. You can include conversation starters. Conversation starters are nothing but those small, small ones that you can pick. For example, so these ones, you can keep adding as much as you want. Okay, the advantage of ChatGPT is it allows you to upload files for references, any artifacts. Same thing is with Gemini. In Gemini as well, you can upload files. You can provide your company's guidelines, standards, or anything that is related to to the custom GPT that you wanted to adhere. For now, we not. This should do, and then I'm going to test it. So before that, let me show it in Gemini. Sorry, I missed that. So when you go to Gem and click on New Gem, so you have knowledge, right? Right under instructions, you have knowledge. So over here, you can upload files that you want it to refer from. Okay. Now let's come back to testing the GPT. So it has made it as active. So I'm going to go ahead and so okay, GPT has an option for us to keep this custom GPT for ourselves or share it among friends or even make it publicly available in the GPT store. You can choose one of it. I don't know if it is lucrative as yet, but maybe it might be in the future. So for now, I'm going to leave it as anyone with a link and save it. So our GPT is ready. So let me bring then I bring the example. So it gives you you know, a refined version. So there are a couple of things I want to tell you all more about ChatGPT itself, the features in ChatGPT. So one thing is on the GPT, yeah, in the GPT, you can access um, any, like remember we could have saved our custom GPT either just for us or anyone with a link or in GPT. So here it's like marketplace. You can make it available. For example, I can look for other customized GPTs specific to documentation for technical writing. For example, am I still in the call? Can somebody contract? Looks like my network is kind of slow.
Yes, Gayatri, you are. We can hear you.
So, so you can actually, like you have those um, available in the marketplace, so you can actually kind of slow. Or I don't know if GPT is slow or if my network is. Anyway, so I wanted to show you all. Okay, let's come back to this. Okay. Oh, yeah. So this is something from marketplace. So you can go here and perhaps provide some information or raw information and ask it to document it. So see, one thing we have to constantly remember is that we need we need to keep validating the accuracy. Yeah, as long as it works, as long as it stays accurate, it's fine. So it can create, an API documentation based on this. I just wanted to show this that all, we have plenty of doc related GPTs in the marketplace, ChatGPT's market. One hack that is free in ChatGPT is new project. Let me open one that is not fixed. Um, so here, uh, when you go to project, let's call it text, then create a project. You'll have to click add files and then provide a file that is perhaps um, filled with your requirements. So I have a prompt for how to review as per our industry standards. So for people who do not have a paid version, this is a good alternative. Let's try. I'm going to ask. Just going to ask it to review, and you prompt was about review. So I'm going to ask it to review, and you'll see that you would be getting an equally good kind of feedback from ChatGPT, even with the project. And we don't really have to use customized. Of course, the customized GPT is more effective, but if you don't have a paid version, or if you are wanting to check from a personal perspective, I guess this is good enough. This is about Gemini and ChatGPT. Now, um, I do not have Copilot, but I just grabbed a couple of screenshots of it from work, obviously masking any important information. So in Copilot, all you have to do is click on Create Agent, okay? And then it allows you to add the name, description, and then the instructions, just like how we did in Gemini and in ChatGPT. Fortunately, or I don't know, Pilot does not allow us to attach any content, any documents. However, we can provide a link to any public URL that you know, it can refer to. And then again, you test and click on create. So yeah, this is about Copilot. We need to understand that it's high time we partner with AI, and just if AI would help us with the drafts, it's important. Humans are not going to be negligible. Humans are going to play a pivotal part, nevertheless. So humans would have to validate everything that AI does, because again, AI has a tendency to hallucinate or fabricate information. So if AI ensures consistency, we can make sure there is empathy based on user perspectives and needs. And together, I think it will help us create together, AI and us, will we will be able to create faster, smarter, and user-friendly documentation. So some of the key takeaways in this session were Gen AI, generative AI is definitely powerful, but it's not readily available for technical writers. So, what makes it more reliable is through customization. If we train it for our needs, then it probably, and it noticeably provides us with better output and information. And for that magic to happen, one needs to prompt effectively. The better the prompt is, the better the output would be. And ultimately, we have to constantly remember that we play a pivotal role in validating, all of AI outputs. That's all I have. Thank you for listening. I would be happy to take your questions.
Hi. Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Hi, Gayatri. I want to understand if you are using these prompts or the custom chat GPT for editorial or drafting purpose in your organization.
Okay, mostly for editorial.
Okay.
Also, we have prompts to create procedures, as in we would give a sequence of images, and then ask it to, so first draft, it would produce a first.
And do you generate any reports to see how many writers are actually using these editorial prompts? And is there a way of checking whether they're implementing the output that they get, so that the
Um,
documents are, well, in like they are actually using the prompts in a correct way and they are incorporating all the feedback that they get from the prompt, so the published version is accurate?
so unfortunately, the Copilot version has not been rolled out to the entire team.
Mhm.
However, to whoever is using it, like I said, human intervention and oversight is important. So nothing goes without me doing the content, which means I make sure something, of course, it's done after a lot of discussions. We meet as a team, discuss, and we then come to points where we are happy with the requirements and then go ahead and use it. So, so again, human oversight is imperative.
Okay. And how long have you all been using this?
Not too long, like 3 months, 4 months. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
We have a few questions. We have a question from Balu. Like, while setting the role, does it benefit going in depth within the role responsibilities?
It would be good. You can even talk about core competencies, right? Like if you are a technical writer, but you are competent only on certain kind of writing. Probably you are just good at procedures, or you're just good at creating concepts, or you can base it out and talk about your like how it's nothing but a reflection of what you are, right? You tailor it as per your core competency. What exactly how would you want somebody in your team to join? You would have a job description. You would want them to follow certain norms. So writing norms, of course. So yeah.
Thank you. There's a question from Dimple. Are these agents integrated into authoring workflows or customer facing systems? If yes, please describe how they are being utilized and monitored in practice.
Okay. This is only out of reading and interacting with people. I don't have real real time knowledge. MacApp Central allows you to integrate Copilot with their system. Um, I think ChatGPT with their system. So I think they also have, it would probably behave just like Acrolinks, where it checks how you write the content and provide suggestions on how it can be improved based on the guidelines. Right. But I'm not sure about any tool per se.
Thank you. Uh, Chetan has a question. What is the best way to approach management about creating custom GPTs, particularly in organizations where access to ChatGPT or similar AI tools is restricted and options like uploading style guides are disabled?
Okay, this has to be a conscious decision from the management and you, where you have very a good interaction where you put in your points. However, again, their concern is security. So it depends on what platform they have opted for. For example, my organization uses Copilot, so I am uh, under the belief that they already have their guidelines in place, their data protection policies in place. So it totally depends on how your management views such tools.
Thank you. Gafur has a question like, does GPTs help us in our research and analysis of any feature?
Absolutely. But again, see, you would have to tailor it, train it based on your product. When you provide it authentic information, it can help you with the research and help you, with whatever your requirements.
Thank you. Naveen has a question. I'm currently feeding a complete PDF to Copilot. non-licensed version and facing difficulties in extracting the desired output. Are there any best practices or recommended approaches from your end or someone in this group? Copilot seems to be performing a sample check, but I'm unable to get the entire document reviewed effectively. Any guidance would be appreciated. My prompts include complete grammar checks.
Uh, Copilot in free version, is it? Uh, I'm sorry, I kind of missed on it. Is the person using Copilot the paid version or free version?
Hi Gayatri, this is Naveen.
Hi.
So it's free version, yeah.
Free version, I'm so sorry. It does not allow you to customize at all. It does not even see Copilot is very limiting for that matter. Now, I think Gemini that way it's quite generous. It allows you to even customize the GPT. And ChatGPT is still okay, which because you can still provide some sort of instructions, through its project. But Copilot is very limiting even with paid version. It has some kind of a limitation where it does not allow you to have a lengthy conversation or does not do an um, exhaustive review or um, I not in personally I don't prefer Copilot as much. From a personal point of view, I think ChatGPT is amazing because it learns so well. The more you try, the more you refine, the output is really great.
So Gayatri, in extension to that, so if we go with the licensed version, can we achieve that?
Yes. I do use a licensed version for Copilot at work, and it meets it meets our requirements to a large extent.
Okay, thank you.
However, I don't know. Again, it depends on what your organization is signed up for, right? So I don't. It depends on the data policies and how much it is signed up for, um, and things to it.
Thank you. Shrikant has a question. What challenges do you face when using AI tools like ChatGPT in your daily work?
See, sometimes it can get very redundant. It can extract information from the previous data. So what happens? This is exactly where human intervention or our oversight comes into effect. We have to ensure there's validation. And every time I would encourage you all to use a new chat so that there is no, AI can get confused too. So it is better to use new chat when it's a new conversation. Okay, it can be the same GPT, custom GPT, but use a new chat for the GPT. Do not use just the same chat window over and over again because there is a possibility that we do not express correctly and it can assume things leading to a confused outcome. So make sure as a human, it isn't, the AI probably won't be confused. It's us who's confusing them. So make sure, you ask correctly.
Thank you.
And
Uh,
again,
Pun-
hallucination, of course. Sorry.
Thank you. Puneet has a question. On the report generation for use of the agent, does Copilot give an out-of-the-box feature to check if you are aware, or should a prompt suffice?
Mm, I have not really tried report generation as such. I will look into it and probably respond to that. I don't want to say something which I've not, really looked into.
I think we are done with the questions.
Thank you very much, everyone.